All right. So Darren, I got two things for you. The first one is remote work.
Yeah.
You just hit on a topic that I have dealt with extensively over the last 2 years.
Yeah. What have you seen?
Well, most specifically, the biggest challenge is leadership does not have a way to measure metrics effectively when people are working remotely.
Sure.
Or at least there's a gap, right? They weren't structured that way. People are harboring for, I want to be able to work from home, but I can't monitor work solutions. So first and foremost, give me 2 or 3 things that a business owner could incorporate that would help them feel better about people working from home and still getting productivity or being able to manage or view or, you know what I mean? Gauge productivity. That's the word I'm looking for. And then the second thing would be, if you're developing an app that does that, that would be great. I could probably sell that to a lot of customers for what it's worth. Sure. And then your perspective on that, because I think that's interesting as well.
Yeah, I would say that if your viewpoint is that, productivity is a measure of how long time is spent sitting at a computer, then you've got completely the wrong idea, right? And actually,
thank you.
Sort of unrelated, but closely related is I was working in a call center for a while and creating scorecards, that kind of thing. And they wanted to measure down to the second every single thing that these agents did to make sure they're on the phone, right? And if you're trying to do something similar to your remote employees, you've got it totally wrong, right? It should be about, is work getting done? Are we being productive? How are you tracking and managing projects? How are you setting priorities? And are your people hitting those projects, right? So you can look at, how long does it take to complete a project as opposed to how long did you spend sitting at your computer working on this project, right? Those are two very different things. So I would really encourage people to, look into project management tools, that part of it to really, again, and this is exactly what I mean when I talk about clients doing things differently, is let's shift the focus. Let's no longer make it be about how long were you beaten against the keys for, as opposed to, did you create something that you like doing? Was it fun? Did it get done in a timely manner, right? So I think if that answers your question, Eric, unfortunately, I don't have an app for you yet, but maybe it's something to start thinking about. And, because I don't think remote work is going away. I think that was the one positive out of the pandemic was we learned that, we can work from home some of the time. I think it's different for everyone, but there's no reason to force your employees to be in office just to make sure that they're getting work done. There needs to be respect. There needs to be trust. And you want to verify that trust, right? You want to make sure you're not being taken advantage of, but there are ways to do that and still, give your people flexibility to, that work-life balance thing. The opportunity is there to make it so much better.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's interesting feedback because that's exactly where, as somebody who's managed thousands of people, that's exactly where my head goes. You're monitoring the wrong things.
Right.
If you're trying to monitor daily activity, you're managing that. And David does a lot with training and development and leadership coaching, and he has the same perspective. You're managing the wrong things. You manage the output, not the workflow. Right. It's at the end of the day, if the output is appropriate and measures up and exceeds expectations, then I don't care where you work from.
Right.
Yeah.
Or how long it took, as long as it got done and it looks good. I think you're absolutely right, Eric.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. And to your point, I agree 100%. It not only is it not going away, but I think it's going to continue to exacerbate. As a matter of fact, I am of a belief, and it kind of goes with the whole resignation piece of the great resignation, but more and more people are going to opt to do, I'll take a remote job and be a 1099 employee, and I'll be happy to do that because I'll just do it on my own. I'm okay with that. More and more people are getting very comfortable with that. 20 years ago, that was a hard pill to swallow, but a lot of people are very interested in talking about that now. That makes it a different place for employers, and they're going to have to figure out how to, set that up correctly. The only caveat that I add to that is not everybody should work from home.
Maybe not. No.
There are some people that just don't have the right environment.
I think you're right. And I think it's all about finding that balance. But if I can share a quick personal story, I don't know, this just sort of popped into my head. But, this time last year, we were actually down in St. Petersburg, Florida. We had just started our travel, lifestyle. And There was one Monday afternoon where we sort of just said, you know what? We don't want to work today. We're going to go to the beach. We're going to just go hang out. We saw dolphins. It was beautiful. We had a great, and we almost sort of just took a day off. The next day, we were so much more productive. We were ready to go. We were able to get things done. And because we took that time for ourselves to recharge just a little bit, the next day we put in probably 18 hours of work. So again, I just want to encourage people to just think differently about the way that you have your employees work in this day and age. Because again, there's so much more that we could do to improve things for everybody.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. It's a great example.